So in today's video, I have something a little different for you guys. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own build. Specifically, a couple of the best resources that pretty much all of the Division 2 content creators use to come up with and just theory craft their builds. When somebody uploads a build video to YouTube, let's take for instance the infamous Wids vector build, since pretty much everybody knows about that one by now. He didn't just stumble upon that by accident. He spent days theory crafting before the game was even released. As soon as we got the leaked information for all the weapons and gear talents, he started putting the pieces together in his head for what talents he would need and on what pieces of gear, as well as what weapon would synergize the best with those talents. So once he had an outline, or blueprint if you will, it was much easier for him to figure out what pieces of gear he needed to keep and which ones he could just dismantle or put in the stash. And that's what this video is going to be showing you how to do. I'm going to show you how to make your own build blueprint. That way you'll be able to come up with your own unique build that will fit your specific playstyle. And I think that's the best and most fun part about this game. It's like a very complex puzzle, and once you figure out the pieces you need to make that puzzle work and you've gotten the final piece, it's a very rewarding feeling. I feel like a lot of people are missing out on that, and that's just what's so sad about the copy and pasting of builds that's been going on. It's not that people are like stealing builds or whatever from someone, or like malicious, I mean, that's annoying too, but people are just missing out on one of the coolest aspects of this game. And I get it. Once somebody finds a really strong or OP build and it becomes the meta, of course there are going to be a lot of people trying to make that same build. But you literally can't go into the DZ at this point without running into the Wids build or the Inigo Montoya on the ropes build. But I'll get off my soapbox now and tell you about the damn topic of the video. I'll stop rambling. So I know a lot of you probably know about some of the things I'm about to show you, but I also know that many of you don't. I'm constantly getting comments in my videos like, if I could only get a Fenris backpack or a Sokolov holster, blah, 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 So I know that at least some of you have not seen these spreadsheets, so that's why I wanted to make this video. So there are a couple of Google Docs spreadsheets created by some absolute legends that show you just about everything you could ever want to know about the loot in the Division 2. This was created by a few guys named Spider101, Vo, and Ahmad. I'm sure I said those last two wrong, and if anybody knows whether or not they have like YouTube channels or Twitch streams or anything like that, drop a comment below because I want to give these guys credit because I know this took a lot of work to create. Also, before I get started on all the information you can get from the spreadsheet, I will just note that it's probably best that you open this up on a desktop or a laptop or something like that, because it's kind of a pain on a smartphone. And this probably goes without saying, but I will link all the resources I talk about in this video in the description, so don't forget to check that out. But yeah, let's just dive into everything this spreadsheet will be able to show you. So you can see here at the bottom we have about 15 tabs. The first tab here, called Landing Page, will tell you about any of the updates these guys make to the spreadsheet, as well as this disclaimer here: content and values are subject to change. This sheet represents values mainly from the present game state. Some items may be based on data mined values, which I'll kind of tell you more about in a little bit when I show you all the values for certain pieces of gear. This tab also shows you like the credits for everybody that helped with creating the spreadsheet. So yeah, again, huge thanks to these guys. This has been an invaluable resource for build making and just figuring out all the different attributes and stuff for gear in the Division 2. Okay, the next tabs we have here are all of the levels. So that's the 1 through 30 character level progression, as well as the DZ rank levels. It shows you how much XP it takes to get to the next level. The next tab here directly ties to the levels tab because it's going to show you all the activities that reward you with XP and exactly how much XP each activities offer. I told you, these guys are absolute legends. They thought of everything when making this spreadsheet. So yeah, you can see here all the activities and how much of a percentage gain in terms of how much it takes to get to the next level it will give you towards leveling up. So this is a good tab to check out if you're wanting to like grind out proficiency caches for the apparel event that's about to end. Alright, now let's talk about the meat and potatoes of the spreadsheet. Down here you're going to see the rest of the tabs. We got a full weapons list tab, we got exotic weapons, weapon talents, weapon mods compatibility, we got a gear sets tab, brand sets, a gear talents tab, gear attributes, gear mods, weapon blueprints, and even a weapons checklist tab that you can even click on right here. And you can open it up and have your very own weapons checklist spreadsheet, and you can check off when you get a certain weapon or an exotic or something like that. You can even type some notes like potential god rolls or something for a specific weapon you're hunting for. So yeah, you can see from the brief overview I just gave you just how invaluable of a resource this spreadsheet is to those of us that like coming up with builds and theory crafting and how certain pieces of gear can synergize with each other. Like I said, the links for these spreadsheets will be in the description. So for those of you that just want to dive right in and start coming up with your own build right now, go check it out. Just be sure to leave a like on the video before you leave. Thank you. But for the rest of you that aren't able to check it out right now, I'll go over some of the most important tabs real quick. These are the ones that I frequent the most, and they are the gear talents and gear attributes tabs, the weapon talents, and the brand sets tab. So I'll just briefly show you what kind of information these tabs are going to give you. So on the gear talents tab, you can see here all the talents you can possibly get as of right now anyways on the gear. It has them broken up into two main categories, passive and active, and then three more subcategories, offensive, defensive, and utility. So these here at the top are just your passive talents that have no requirements to unlock. These right here, on the other hand, are your active talents, stuff like Berserk, Unstoppable Force. It also shows you the exact requirements needed to unlock the talent, as well as how the talent changes in normalized and unnormalized areas of the game. So yeah, this tab is super helpful in setting a baseline for what talents you want in your build and exactly what requirements you'll need for each of them to work. As of right now, they haven't updated it for the PTS, like the PTS values for the requirements. So I'm sure they're going to be updating this soon to reflect the requirements coming in the next update. So next I'll briefly show you the gear attributes tab. This is going to show you which attributes can roll on each specific gear item, and this is also a good time to show you the next resource I like to use when coming up with a build, and that's this image right here. Again, link in the description. So this image is also from Spider 101. Again, thank you, as well as Reddit user Passeri. So what this image is going to show you is the average to maximum rolls for each specific attribute for each specific piece of gear. I'll also throw an image on screen here for the abbreviations for these attributes. So you can see here, for example, the gloves can roll 4 different attributes. You've got health, crit chance, weapon type damage, and skill power. You see here it shows you the max roll for skill power on the gloves is going to be around 380. It also shows you which brand in particular you will most likely find the max rolls on. I will say some of the values are a little confusing, as I've yet to see an 18% weapon type damage chest plate, but I think it's calculating it based off of the stat allowance of each piece of gear. So if you got an Alps chest piece with only one attribute, and that attribute was all weapon damage, then yes, maybe you could get an 18% weapon damage attribute. I saw a Reddit post by this guy, and from what I could understand, that's the way he described it. But either way, this is a great resource to show you what attributes can roll on each specific piece of gear. Okay, moving on, because this video is starting to get much longer than I thought it would be. So I'll briefly show you guys the brand sets tab here. This is going to show you all of the brand sets and which pieces of gear they can roll on. So the guy asking about his Sokolov holster in my previous video, you can see here it's not possible to get. So you can stop looking for it, man. You can also see here that some brand sets can roll on every single piece of gear. So yeah, that is good for figuring out which brand sets you want to use in your build and on what pieces you would need to get them to make the build work. In addition, that I would like to see added here is showing the different subcategories of the brand sets. Like for example, the Fenris chest piece has 2 different classifications, the Stradvast and the Harnesk. And you can see here that the Stradvast rolls with different mod slots than the Harnesk, which is pretty important information to figure out which mods you can use so you can meet your requirements for your gear talents and weapon talents. So yeah, that's just a little addition I hope to see in the future. I have most of that written down, but it would be nice to have all that information in one place. Either way, this spreadsheet is amazing. So lastly, I'll just show you the weapons and weapon talents tab. The weapon talents tab is a lot like the gear talents tab. It shows you the 3 categories of talents here. You got active, passive, or handling as they call it, and the holster talents. So yeah, this is a lot like I said, the gear talents tab. It shows you the requirements for each of the active talents, as well as which weapons in particular it will roll on. And because I know somebody's going to ask, this little blue check mark right here means only on the ACS 12. So let's take a look at the list of the weapons in Division 2 here. So yeah, you can see that they literally have every single weapon listed here, and goddamn, I didn't even realize how there were that many weapons in this game. They even have the replica weapons listed, like the ones with blueprints currently in the game. I will note here that the damage numbers here are going to be base damage numbers for normalized areas of the game. These numbers are obviously much higher in regular PvE scenarios, but they decided to use the normalized numbers for some reason. I don't know why, but hey, I didn't spend hours upon hours making the damn thing, so who am I to criticize? And I will also link another spreadsheet that I know a lot of other people use, and that's going to give you damage values for, normalized and unnormalized, as well as 450 gear score items to 500 gear score items. So it'll show you the max damage possible for a 500 gear score item in normalized and unnormalized. So I'll also link that one down below. It's a lot like this one, but it is somewhat different, so you can check both of those out. But yeah, that's just a couple of the main tabs that I use a lot. Like I said, there's a lot more on this spreadsheet here, as you can see, that tell you just about everything you'd ever want to know about the game. I mean, they even have a weapon mod compatibility list that shows you what mods can go on what guns. Like, these dudes are awesome. So again, thank you to Spider101 and the rest of the crew that came up with this spreadsheet. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is probably the best resource out there for theory crafting builds and just trying to come up with a blueprint for a build that you're interested in making. I know a lot of people already know about this, but I'm sure there are a ton of people that had no idea this even existed. So I just thought I'd bring it to more people's attention. The more people we have out there coming up with new and unique builds, the less people we'll have running around with the exact same copy and paste builds like we do now. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video useful or informative. If you did, consider dropping a like on the video because it really does help me out. Subscribe if you want to see some more videos like this from me. And yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. Later.